Hi everyone, my name's Emma and today I'll be discussing behaviourism and its application within the classroom as well as the strengths and limitations and how it resonates with my personal teaching and learning beliefs. So to start with, my personal teaching and learning beliefs are to ensure that students feel safe and confident within their environment. Also communicate openly and honestly and have the feeling of being respected by their peers and their educators. So when they're talking, to ensure that they're not being disrupted or feel like they're being spoken over. Another part of this is equal learning opportunities, and so each child has the equal right to learn, and to ensure that the teacher is also taking into consideration of their cognitive and behavioural development. So another belief of mine is that a student-centred approach is being implemented within the classroom. So students' interests are being accounted for and incorporated into their program, just to ensure that they are able to explore that a little bit further. I also think that it's important for students to take charge of their learning and give the educators, so educators are used more as a resource and a guide and give structure and knowledge. So this actually relates to the solo taxonomy. So as discussed by Trigano 2013, students are encouraged to develop their learning and thinking by acknowledging what stage they may be in of this taxonomy, therefore taking control of their own learning. Okay, so behaviorism. So behaviorism is a learned response to an external stimulus, which we all know. So this was said by Cohen and Waite-Szczepanski. So an example of behaviorism may be that we reward a child for their behaviour and we want this behaviour to increase, so we continue to reward them when they present this. The child then learns that they need to continue to show this behaviour in order to receive a further reward. Now there are two main parts of behaviorism. So we have classical conditioning and operant conditioning. So classical conditioning is really familiar, as we know, for Pavlov's dogs. So what would happen is the bell would ring and it would or it would bring the dog to start salivating, and that would be the stimulus to cause that behaviour. So then we also have operant conditioning, which Skinner is very well known for. And this is something that is very commonly used within classrooms. So we can use positive reinforcement if a child is showing positive behaviour, and then negative reinforcement or negative punishment. So potentially taking away a stimulus to stop or decrease a behaviour. So how does behaviourism resonate with my teaching and learning beliefs? So behaviourism incorporates the idea that every child has the potential to learn behaviour that is socially acceptable and within the best interests of the child and those around them. So this is revolved around my beliefs because I wish for children to have equal learning opportunity, and I feel that in this case that it does show that, and that they are stating that every child has this potential to learn and therefore showing equal learning opportunity. Another factor is that the onus or the responsibility of behaviourism is actually placed on the educator. So therefore, the educator is responsible for trying to instruct and adjust a child's behaviour to be a little bit more socially acceptable, or to show a certain behaviour that it is a positive thing, or to show a certain behaviour may not be so positive. So this resonates with my teaching beliefs, as I believe the educator is there to provide a guide and is used as a resource and can provide structure and knowledge to the child. So this correlates with that. Okay, so to discuss the strengths of behaviourism, so one thing is that it is commonly used in the classroom and has many years of research behind it. So it is something that is commonly used, and this was presented by Fields 2012. So another thing about behaviourism is that it is a simple and effective, I suppose, theory to apply into the classroom. So it's quite simple for a teacher to sort of notice a behaviour and then quite quickly adjust that. Again, that was discussed by Fields 2012. So a third strength is that, as I stated, that teachers can respond quite quickly to behaviour, but they can also respond consistently, so therefore the child knows over time what sort of behaviour might get that certain response. And this was with Duchesne and McMowell 2016. So the limitations we have, so behaviourism doesn't address cognitive development or the learning processes. That was said by McLeod 2015. And also it may present ethical dilemmas regarding punishment or aversive techniques being delivered. So we just want to ensure that if you are using this theory, that we're certainly going by ethical guidelines that have been set as well. And that was also stated by Duchesne and McNeil 2016. So applying the learning theory into practice. So for me, I would ensure that I'm using operant conditioning, so positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement as well. So potentially if a child may be speaking over another child, I would potentially use negative punishment. So potentially just saying that providing a warning for the student, and then hopefully others will be observing that as well, and then hopefully not speaking over that child. So we also have applied behaviour analysis, which is a form of operant conditioning, and that is actually can be used in a sort of classroom environment and other play areas, and really just focuses on the main certain main behaviours that might need to be adjusted. Also with this, I'll be using ABC, or I want to be aware of the ABC sequence, so antecedents, behaviour and consequences. So ensuring that I know what's going on in the classroom, what may be happening at that particular time and with who, what behaviour is being presented. So again, for example, if a child is talking over another child while they're speaking, this behaviour is being acknowledged, and then the consequence, so potentially using a warning. So with the use of these theories, I definitely hope to implement my beliefs within the classroom, and potentially we'll be doing more so with the positive and positive reinforcement and negative punishment, and ABC sequence as well. So another thing that I wanted to discuss as well was the parts of the theory that don't resonate with my beliefs, is that it doesn't actually factor in cognitive development, which I think is really important for children, and why they may be presenting a certain behaviour, and that their development may be taking maybe determining that. Another factor is that students can begin to become dependent on external forces of behaviour change, rather than sort of identifying it themselves intrinsically. And that was also stated by Duchesne and McNeil 2016. So just to summarise, I believe that certain parts of behaviourism is really relevant in the classroom, so including praise, rewards, and negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement, and that I think encourages certain behaviour. On the other hand, the theory does contain limitations, such as having children at different stages of learning, and that can hinder their successful altering of behaviour. So that's it for my presentation. So thank you very much for listening. Very much appreciated. Thanks.